Okay, let's look at what they call special factoring in section 3. Now I started on example 2 because example 2 is more like section 2. If you look at this one, we can factor this one the same way we did in section 2. You have 144p squared minus 120p plus 25. Now what you'll notice on this is the numbers are really large. Okay, so when you go to factor, you want to look for hints. On this one, I noticed that the first one and the last one were perfect squares. This is 12p times 12p, and this one is 5 times 5. So I decided to try those first. If I put 12p here and a positive 5 on the end like that, what I can do is this. If I also, by the way, needed to put the negative 5 times negative 5 to get the negative 120 in the middle. A positive 5 times a positive 5 won't give me a negative in the middle. When you multiply the outside, you get negative 60p, and when you multiply the inside, you get negative 60p, and that does add to the negative 120. So this is the one that works. It's just a little trick when you're doing this. You know to look for perfect squares. Now because these two sets of parentheses are exactly the same, they will write it like this, 12p minus 5 to the second power. It just means you had two of them and they were exactly the same. On part B, you have 4m squared plus 20mn plus 49n squared. You can't take anything out. On this one, notice you have a 4 in the front. So you could do 4 times 1 or 2 times 2. And back here, you have a 49, which is also a perfect square. You can do 49 times 1 or 7 times 7. So I'm going to start with, on this one, the perfect squares to see if it works. So I did 2m plus 7n and 2m plus 7n because this was 2m squared and that was 7n squared. I use positives because I need a positive in the middle. When you multiply on the outside, you get a 14mn, and you multiply on the inside, you get a 14mn. Now this one adds to 28, so it did not work like we thought. It is not a special factor one. In this case, this one does not factor, and it is actually a prime. So we don't want to list it this way. It didn't work. This one would be prime. But the one above did work. Okay, now to prove that it's prime, you do have to try the 1m times the 4m and see if it'll work. You also have to try the 49 and the 1 and see if those will work. But this one actually does not factor.